more than Mexico. No place on earth has produced more legendary warriors. A heritage so ingrained in Mexico's identity, it's woven into the very fabric of the country. Only Mexico has a flag emblazoned with a fight, an eagle and a serpent, the eternal battle for the soul of a nation. This is the night we celebrate Mexico's independence and warrior spirit. This is the night the worlds of sports and entertainment come together. This is Noche, UFC.
What's up, everybody? I'm back. I just did the What's Next for Canelo video, but now I'm going to jump into the Noche UFC recap. Man, what an incredible card it was. The timing worked out beautifully. Shout out to the UFC for that. They started at 5 p.m. Texas time, and the main event ended right as the undercard fight for Canelo Crawford started. So just jump into it right now. Main event, number 2 ranked Diego Lopez takes on number 10 ranked Gian Silva. I said it the week before for the Paris card that the odds makers got it wrong for the main event. Lopez number 2, Silva number 10. Silva was the betting favorite at minus 238. Lopez came in at plus 195. The week before in Paris, they got it wrong too. They had Caio Bahayo ranked number 8 over ranked number 1 Imavov, and Imavov won that fight, and Lopez won this fight. It was a beautiful fight, beautiful performance by Diego Lopez. First round, comes out, gets Gian Silva down, goes to full mount, completely dominates him. He lands big 12-6 elbows on Gian Silva, gashes him open. They get into a scramble towards the last minute of the round. Gian Silva comes out. Second round, lands some big shots on Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez, I truly believe, has been living in Mexico too long. That dude has a cinder block for a chin. You can't hurt him. He keeps coming forward. And then at 4:48 in the second round, he gets the finish. He catches Gian Silva coming in and lands a beautiful spinning back elbow. Hits Gian Silva on the side of the head. Immediately sprays blood. I mean, the dude is gashed open. He goes down. He gets him in a full mount. Finishes him with elbows and strikes. Diego Lopez is your main event winner, and he did it in beautiful fashion. He needed a knockout victory. He was coming off the loss against Alexander Volkanovski. Silva's coming off a win over Flat Earth Bryce Mitchell. He ragdolled Bryce Mitchell in that fight. I thought he was too big for him. Bryce Mitchell goes down to 135. He looked great. He looked shredded. That's the best I've ever seen Bryce Mitchell. But Lopez is coming off the loss versus the defending champion, Alexander Volkanovski, and he proved it, man. He's fought the better competition. He's been in the bigger spots, main evented. I mean, he put Gian Silva in his place. And there was a lot of shit going on after the fight. Apparently, Gian Silva had been talking shit in the whole lead up. There was a couple confrontations in the hotels the week of the fight, and he's talking shit to Lopez. His team is talking shit to Lopez. So after Lopez gets the victory, he gets on the cage, throws him the double birds, talks shit to Gian Silva's corner. Gian Silva actually hits Lopez in the back of the head after the fight's over. And the last time we've seen anything like that was Josh Koscheck at least 10, 12 years ago. And he got immediately cut from the UFC after that fight. I don't know what they're going to do with Gian Silva. As of right now, it doesn't appear like he's going to get cut. Lopez, in the post-fight interview backstage, said that, he didn't know if Gian Silva was trying to be cool or whatever, because he kept trying to tell him. He kept trying to tap hands in between the rounds. And then after the fight, he was cool as he announced the winner. But, I mean, he hit him in the back of the head after the fight. So, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get cut because he is a prospect, but Lopez, man, put him in his place, absolutely dominates him, gets the big win. He proved his rank number 2. Evloev is still ranked number 1. So, and Evloev has said if he doesn't get the next shot, which I don't think he's going to get the next shot. I don't think Lopez is going to get the next shot. I think it's going to be Lerone Murphy's going to get the next shot at the title. And Evloev said he'd be open to fight Lopez again. Like I said, Lopez has 2 losses in the UFC. One was his last fight against the reigning champ, Alexander Volkanovski. And his first loss was against Movsar Evloev, in his first fight in the UFC on short notice. And he still took him 3 rounds. And Evloev has been proven that he's been mauling everybody on the way to the #1 rank. With the exception of the Aljamain Sterling fight, which I thought Aljamain should have got the nod. But it was a great fight. Evloev won. It was a grappling heavy fight. I know a lot of people don't like that. Me as a jiu-jitsu first degree jiu-jitsu black belt, I love that type of stuff because they were crazy scrambles, position changes. I mean, it was a grappler's delight, that fight was, and I actually enjoyed it. I thought Aljamain did enough to win. Movsar gets a nod. He's ranked #1, but he said he's open to fight Lopez again. The co-main event, Rob Font, David Martinez. I had picked David Martinez to win this fight. He was the underdog at +110. Rob Font was -130, the favorite. But David Martinez showed me in his last fight on the Ciudad Mexico City card. It was the co-main event. I believe it was a co-main event for Brandon Moreno, Steve Verseg. That dude is down and he's a dog, and he proved it. He won unanimous decision. But, man, he dropped Rob Font big in that last 3rd round. And I did the live stream, and it was a close fight. I believe it was 1-1 going into the 3rd. And I said on the live stream that somebody has to do something of any kind of significance to pull this out because it was still close in the 3rd. Martinez lands a big right hand, puts Rob Font down, tries to go for the finish. The buzzer sounds. David Martinez gets the victory. The feature fight, Kelvin Gastelum. He's making it so hard to be a fan of his. The guy missed his weight by 5 pounds. He came in at 191. They're fighting at middleweight, which is 185, but without if it's not a title fight, they give you a 1 pound allowance. Gastelum comes in at 191. Shout out to Dustin Souls Foods for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it, but he took it. And Gastelum outboxed him, landed huge shots, dropped him, went for the finish, couldn't get him out of there. But Gastelum is Gastelum. He hasn't really evolved since, I'd say, in the last 4 or 5 years. He's just proven that he's not going to change the way he fights. He's going to try to stuff the takedowns, and he's going to try to beat you with his boxing. And he did that tonight. But with the weight miss hanging over his head, it's kind of hard to give him full credit. Shout out to Robert Whitaker, the Reaper, Bobby Knuckles. He addressed it on his podcast. And I think it's some type of crazy stat. I think it's like 70 to 85%. If the guy or gal doesn't make the weight, they're favored to win the fight because they're not having to kill themselves to cut those last couple pounds. And anybody who's cut weight knows that makes the biggest difference in the world, man. If you're not killing yourself and draining those extra pounds, because once it gets down to that close, when you're 1 pound, 2 pounds away, and you're already leaned down, and you're trying to push that weight out, that water, it's coming out of your organs, your brain, like it's really hard. But anybody who sees Kelvin Gastelum knows he's not lean. He's a little fat bastard for the most part. He could have made that weight. And I know he said, oh, it was on short notice. You had 4 weeks. 4 weeks to make the weight. If you weren't going to make the weight, you should have asked the UFC to do it at catch weight at maybe 190, 195, something. I'm sure if Dustin Soul Foods took the fight with you 5 pounds overweight, I'm pretty sure he would have took it at a catch weight at 190, and you would have been fine. I like Kelvin Gastelum, but man, he's just missed weight so many times, and he actually could have fought his whole career at 70, but he just never wanted to make the weight. And on the flip side, I guess you could say he's always fought his best at 85 when he's not cutting that weight. I mean, his best performance of his life was against Israel Adesanya when they fought for the vacant title at 85. But still, man, if you sign the contract, you got to make the weight. Be a professional. It makes you look bad. It looks bad overall. A lot of people online were saying they need to cut him. But, I mean, he did win, and he looked pretty good in the win. So it's kind of hard to decide what they're going to do with him. At this point in his career, I don't think either he's going to retire or he's going to try to make another push at the title. But I don't see that happening. if he's okay with being a gatekeeper for 185, then I guess, I mean, tip my hat to him if that's what he wants to be. But, I mean, if it was me, I don't think I'd want to be in that position. But he gets the win. Next fight down the line, I had picked Alexander Hernandez to beat Carlos Diego Ferreira. Carlos Diego Ferreira fights out of Dallas. He trains at Fortis with Said Saud. The guy's 40 years old, and he was still the favorite, minus 120. Still the favorite at minus 120. Alexander Hernandez fighting in his hometown, San Antonio, Texas. He's a plus 100, and he gets the job done. Coming off that big win against Chase Hooper, he comes in. It was kind of back and forth the first round. A lot of stance switches from both guys. They were moving from orthodox to southpaw fluidly. I was trying to cover that fight live, but man, the stance switches and all the movement, it was really hard for me to keep up. I tried to upload it. I uploaded it wrong under the Gastelum Stole Suits fight, so I just ended up deleting it. But yeah, man, Alexander Hernandez with a great performance. He came in like a bat out of hell when he first got into the UFC. Then he ran in to Cowboy, and he was talking a lot of shit to Cowboy. Cowboy finishes him, and ever since that fight, he's been like 2 wins up, 2 wins down, 2 wins up, 2 wins down. But now he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's in Colorado with the guys from Brandon Royval's camp. It's doing a lot of good for him. He looks good. He called out Michael Chandler after the fight. I don't know if Chandler's going to accept that fight. Chandler probably thinks that he's still in the upper echelon at 155. If he takes it, I'd be surprised. But if he does accept, I think that's a good matchup for Hernandez to see where he's at right now, especially with a type of opponent like Chandler. He's only got 2 wins. I mean, he's got a win over Dan Hooker, which he landed that big left hook, and then he's got a win over Tony Ferguson. I mean, hell, Tony Ferguson isn't even in the UFC anymore. But shout out to Tony. He got his first boxing win against Salt Poppy at Misfits Boxing. But, yeah, we'll see what Chandler does. I mean, the ball is in his court. But, I mean, I don't think it's a bad fight for him. He needs a win. He's coming off the loss where he just got manhandled by Patty. So, I think it'd be a good fight for him. The next fight down that I picked, Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Tatiana Suarez, when she first got into the UFC, she's a big wrestler. She was getting billed as the female Habib. And early on, she did control people. She got the fight to the mat, and she would punish girls. Ever since all the injuries, she hasn't been the same. She showed in the Zhang Weili fight that she could still get the fight to the ground, but she couldn't do anything with it. Zhang Weili comes back to just punish her the rest of that fight. Tatiana Suarez got the W, but she didn't get it in impressive fashion like she should have. The belt is vacant now because Zhang Weili did release it and went up because she's going to fight Valentina Shevchenko. But if Tatiana wanted another shot immediately, she should have got a finish. She should have tried to get a knockout or a sub. She couldn't get it done. Amanda Lemos was like 38. She was prime pickings to get a big finish there, and she just couldn't get the job done. But she did get the win. I believe the title is vacant now, so from what I've read, Mackenzie Dern for sure is going to be in that title fight. I don't know who she's going to fight for the vacant title. But even if they were to throw Tatiana Suarez in there, which I don't believe they will, Tatiana's best path to victory is on the ground, and Mackenzie Dern is a multiple-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. She's shown that she's not afraid to stand up and throw hands. She's got good kicks. She's not afraid to bang. And if the fight does get to the ground, she is always attacking off her back. She's always looking to force a scramble or a sub. I think if that fight gets made, which I don't believe it will, but I would give the nod to Mackenzie Dern. Man, she's a beast down there, man. That's where she feels the most at home, and she's a monster down there. A couple other fights that I didn't get to was the Rafa Garcia, Jared Flash Gordon fight. Man, that was a banger for the first 2 rounds. They were going back and forth, back and forth. Rafa Garcia gets the win in the 3rd round by TKO. He drops Gordon, gets the finish. Huge win for Rafa Garcia, man. Shout out to him. He earned that one because Jared Gordon is no slouch. He took most people thought that he beat Paddy Pimblett in their fight. But Rafa Garcia, man, he was not going away that fight because Gordon clipped him with some good shots. And Rafa Garcia just found a way, man. Mexican way, man. Just find a way to win, and he did. And the other fight that I wanted to address was the Montserrat Rendon versus Alex Pereira. I believe Alex Pereira is Alex Pereira's little sister. So it was a close fight, back and forth. Montserrat did just enough to get a split decision victory. Kind of slows down the train of Alex Pereira. But, man, I was really happy with this card. It wasn't, the names didn't really jump out, but it was a good card for a Noche UFC. You know, this Noche UFC was supposed to be originally in Guadalajara, and it was going to be a numbered pay-per-view. There was talks that it was going to be Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez in Guadalajara to be the main event. That fell through. I believe the venue wasn't ready, or wasn't, yeah, it wasn't going to be ready in time, so they moved it to a fight night. I'm glad they did it in San Antonio. And I didn't want to toot my own horn, but I'm going to, because this is probably the first UFC fight card where I went undefeated as far as my picks and my betting. Lopez won. I had picked Lopez. He won. I had picked David Martinez to upset Rob Font. He won. I had picked Gaslam to beat Stoltzfus. He won. I bet Alex Hernandez to win. He won. And I had bet Tatiana Suarez to win, and she won. All my picks were sent to my brother. My brother was in Vegas for the Canelo Crawford. He actually went to the fight. Everything that he said, that it was an amazing night, with the exception that Canelo lost. My brother is probably one of the biggest Canelo fans ever. But he also said he was glad to be there because he got to see greatness, you know, with Bud Crawford becoming three-weight undisputed world champion. But it was a great night for the Mexicans on the Noche UFC card. I'm proud of that. You know, Lopez is Brazilian, but he's been living in Mexico, in Puebla, Mexico for 7-8 years. So I guess, I don't know his citizenship status in Mexico, but he's honorary Mexican, so he gets the win. David Martinez from Mexico. Gaslam is Mexican-American. Alex Hernandez is Mexican-American. Suarez is Mexican-American. Montserrat Rendon is Mexican. And Rafa Garcia is Mexican. And they all got the win. It's the first time since Noche started 2 years ago that all the Mexicans have won on the card. Man, yeah, it was a great night of fights, and it rolled perfectly into the main card for Canelo Crawford. So yeah, man, that makes me really happy. I will break down the Australia Perth Fight Night card. The main event is Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes. So that will be next after this, or maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But thank you guys so much, man. This was on paper, it wasn't a great card because it wasn't stacked full of big names, but all the fights delivered. It was action-packed. Couldn't expect nothing less from Mexicans. And yeah, man, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace.